the Republican Party working overtime to protect the election from basically anybody who doesn't have a white-sounding last name, or I should say, a non, like a more like non-Anglo last name, right?
AK more suspicious.
Yeah. This is a CBS Morning did a Inside the Vote segment, and they interviewed a guy from North Carolina. It's always North Carolina. Do you remember like years ago there was like it was I can't remember who did the segment. Maybe it was Asif Manvi on Daily Show. Had a segment with a guy from North Carolina who was curbing the vote and trying to essentially disenfranchise black people. And he says to him, like, yeah, no, we're trying to keep black people from voting. And Asif Manvi goes, I can hear you speaking. And he goes like, yeah, no, I know.
I'm thinking this is probably the segment, I'll look into it, but the Daily Show segment that helped change North Carolina voting rights from 8 years ago on our show.
Yeah. I think Asif, we had on to talk about that. All right, I don't need to see this dude. Just take it from here.
Alfred went to North Carolina for our series Democracy Watch and obtained a video with potentially troubling implications.
Last month, the Republican National Committee's...
Pause it for 1 second. I just want you to let that marinate. With potentially troubling implications. Well, this is pretty nuanced stuff, I guess. Let's see if I can follow along.
Does that mean it's potentially not troubling?
It's potentially not troubling, but it could have implications that are a little bit troubling. I wonder what it is.
Rolled into Raleigh, North Carolina with a message.
Only American citizens can vote.
To find or stop potential illegal voters, Republicans have filed lawsuits across multiple states, including this one in North Carolina, arguing improperly managed voting lists could open the door for significant numbers of non-citizens to vote.
The North Carolina Board of Elections is refusing to take the steps to take illegal immigrants off the voter roll.
Now, pause it for a second. Well, remember, Whatley was Trump's handpicked replacement for Ronna McDaniel. It is well reported that Trump got rid of Ronna McDaniel because she was focusing on get out the vote and not so-called election protection.
Don't get out the vote.
Don't get out the vote. Just make it sound like the vote was stolen. So Whatley and Lara Trump are there to basically do a project to set a predicate that this election's going to be stolen, right? I will remind you that there have been maybe a handful of illegal votes over the years. Yes, one of them was Ann Coulter. But we can remember with specifics of this because there's so few. Sometimes people register when they're not allowed to, but they don't actually vote. Because if you're in this country and you're not legal to be here, you are undocumented, you're not going to go, you know what? I'm risking it all for my one vote. Plus, I want to say who can be the comptroller of Westchester County in New York. And so I'm going to risk going in and fraudulently voting. But listen to this. We getting close to 2 minutes in? Because that's where it really starts.
Take illegal immigrants off the voter rolls.
Echoing political message of the Republican nominee.
And a lot of these illegal immigrants coming in, they're trying to get them to vote.
It is a lie. It is a myth.
But Democrats like Juan Perano, head of the Latino advocacy group LULAC, don't see it that way.
All right, pause it. Let me tell you why this is just such absolute bullshit, the way that the CBS is doing this. Because it's not Democrats that are saying this. It is every single person who has looked into this issue for decades. For decades. Google U.S. attorneys Bush scandal, where they fired U.S. attorneys who would not bring them cases of voter fraud because these U.S. attorneys around the country came back to the Bush administration and said, we can't find any. We can't find any. I'm not going to make any up. So Karl Rove had multiple of these people fired. This is back in, 2004? Where they got fired in 2005 and the request came in 2004 in the run-up of the election. You don't need to go to a Democrat to find out that this is all bullshit. You don't need a Democrat. Democrats say there weren't 3 million illegals bussed from Massachusetts into New Hampshire, and that's why Donald Trump left. No. Everyone says this. But this is the way that they sort of deflect.
Would a non-citizen vote?
Latinos are not going to make the trip to the United States and literally put themselves in legal jeopardy by registering to vote and actually voting in an election.
Non-citizens have registered to vote in the past. Since the last election, several states have taken steps to remove thousands of potential illegal voters from their rolls.
Pause it. I want to make it clear. The word potential is doing a lot of work there. The other way of saying that is red states have disenfranchised people in very dubious purges of their voter laws, rolls. That's the other way to report that. Go ahead.
But officials say the number of non-citizens who've actually cast votes in federal elections is minuscule. North Carolina identified less than 50 in its most recent audit, although that was in 2016.
So you see this as a total non-issue?
We don't believe that there's any proof at all whatsoever that this is a widespread issue. It is illegal to vote if you are a non-citizen.
Don't risk your American dream.
The fight to clean up voter rolls and prevent non-citizens from voting is a focus of conservative election integrity groups who are distributing mailers and hosting in-person events.
They are voters that are most likely to be ineligible or illegal.
Jim Womack is leading a team of more than 1,800 volunteers in North Carolina who are combing through voter rolls to identify what they consider suspicious voters.
And you're trying to come up with county-by-county lists.
It's a list of suspicious voters. Again, not necessarily illegal or ineligible voters, but people that hit our suspicious list.
CBS News obtained a video of Womack discussing how to identify those suspicious voters. We showed it.
Pause it for a second. How are they going to define these suspicious voters? Incidentally, I wonder if this is how they found those suspicious voters in those states where they potentially people who weren't supposed to registered.
Yeah, potential non-citizens, which also means potential citizens.
Understand, this has been the strategy of the Republican Party for at least, I'm talking purging voter rolls, at least since 2000. Catherine Harris was the Secretary of State. She was also the co-chair of the George W. Bush campaign in Florida, and they purged thousands of people from the voter lists because they had names like other people who maybe shouldn't have been on the voter lists. But let's listen to the expert on how we identify suspicious potential voters.
Get his explanation.
If you've got folks that that were registered and they're missing information, and they were registered in the last 90 days before the election, and they've got Hispanic sounding last names, that probably is a suspicious voter.
But why would you single out Hispanic sounding last names?
In that case, I would have to listen to the full context. Hispanic sounding last names certainly is not exclusive. Anyone who is lacking the required information, we certainly would consider them as a suspicious voter. We are trying to find every illegitimate voter and to challenge the ones that shouldn't be voting.
Womack says he expects his group to challenge at most a few hundred voters. Still, activists like Proano question their motives.
If they have to contest these elections, what they're going to go back to is non-citizen voting. They're laying the groundwork now to contest the election in November.
Now, there's no evidence.
There is no evidence. Yes. The whole, I mean, this whole piece that it's like, I mean, that there's an argument. We had a Democrat on, we had a Republican on. Yes, the Republican said like it's this, but you know, who knows in what context he said that. He could have said in the context of, well, it's not just Spanish sounding last names. It's really any anything that sounds a little bit foreign,
the sequencing of that. Like maybe put the guy where he couldn't remember the context, where he mentioned Hispanic names being a flag for suspicion. How about, put that up front in the piece before you get to like the denials, and also maybe say, hey, what is a good context for, just hypothetically, you said it, maybe you can't remember saying it.
Or let's play the whole thing and you can explain it to us why we're taking it out of context. It's unbelievable. But this is what the strategy is. Now, they may win. Trump may win. And all this investment in there will be how he explains, well, I actually got more votes than her, too. But they had illegals. I mean, that's what he was talking about when he was complaining that Hillary Clinton got more votes than him. But this is how they're going to tie stuff up in the courts.
They do John Kelly or Charlie Kirk?
Oh, let's do the John Kelly, and maybe you guys will do the Charlie Kirk tomorrow. Oh, well, while we're here, here's Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's doing basically the same thing in terms of attempting to lay the groundwork for a stolen election narrative. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She is on with noted journalist Alex Jones, who apparently is still allowed to broadcast. His creditors have not taken all of their equipment yet. And so Marjorie Taylor Greene is on there to claim that the voting machines are ineffective and actually rigged. Now, you're not going to believe who made these voting machines, or maybe you will. I wonder if a member of Congress has immunity when they're speaking on InfoWars.
County, someone posted up that when they went to vote in Whitfield County here in Georgia's 14th district, now remember, we're a swing state and we need everyone to vote in my district. And so they went to vote, and we have the Dominion machines. And you go through and you mark president, you mark, for Congress, that would be me. They marked Donald Trump, and they marked who they were voting for the rest of the way down their ballot on the machine. Then when they're finished, the machine prints their ballot, a paper copy, a printed copy, and each voter has to review that printed copy to make sure that it has selected the candidates that they want to vote for. And so when this voter printed their ballot and they looked, it had changed. It was not Donald Trump. It was not me, and it was not the other ones they had voted for. It had switched. And so they went up to one of the election workers and they said, here's the problem. The machine switched it, and my printed ballot, I did not vote for these people. So they had to start over, and they went through it several times, and it kept on making the same error. Kept on switching the votes. And so this is something we're just starting to look into today, because I just found out about it this morning before I came on your show today. But we will be following up, and I'll be talking to election workers and officials here in the district and making sure that this happens, that these ballots are correct. Because that's extremely concerning. It sounds similar to what we heard in 2020.
It certainly does.
Things that I'm concerned about, Alex. Here in Georgia, we fixed our voting laws, but states that did not fix their voting laws is Pennsylvania, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, extremely important swing states. They never fixed their election laws.
That is interesting. What a coincidence. What a coincidence.
Fix is a funny word with a number of different meanings.
There's Marjorie Taylor Greene doing her part to seed the predicate for a stolen election in the event that Donald Trump loses. There it is. And she hasn't even gotten to the weather machines that will be deployed to change the vote.
The machines that can change weather and a vote in a ballot.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.